Okay, so I did tell you I'm going to teach you how to improve your Windows 11 Home or Pro or Enterprise. If you want, if you're using that. Okay, so just pay attention, and I'm making this the best as I can, and I have to do some security protocols here. So the way I'm going to show the registry is going to be like the way I have it right now. Okay, so let's start. All right, so this is the device manager on it behind here. So we can't show you too much. Okay, so network adapters. Make sure you have the Bluetooth disabled. Make sure you have your whatever you're using for Ethernet. If you're using Ethernet, then then you should have your wireless disabled if you're not going to use this. But if your desktop has wireless, then you have that enabled. I'm using wireless. Okay, it's strictly wireless, no more Ether. So I got this disabled, this disabled. Anything else in your network adapters that you're not using, VPN, voice over IP, DSL, anything weird, disable them. You don't need them. All that open up like that uses up system resources, and it's going to slow down your network adapter. So disable everything. Don't delete them. Just disable them, and they'll disappear when you reboot the computer. You should only have the wireless adapter you have. Okay, it's for or your wired adapter. But in this video, we're showing wireless. Okay, so so power management. Make sure that's turned off. Okay, advance. Okay, so for my network card, 5 gigahertz 802.11. It might vary on yours, AC11. All these are the default if you're using a similar. I have by default for I don't know some weird reason the quality of service, that's what it stands for. Mode was disabled. I turned it on. Speed up the system a little bit. Offloading is disabled by it was on by it was enabled. Bluetooth was enabled. I disabled that. D state to auto. Fat. Now your NIC card for your wireless might be different. So I'm just going to, for those of you who have Intel, the ProSet series, this is what you're going to see. All right, so mixed mode protection disabled. That is disabled. That is enabled. Preferred bandwidth 5 gigahertz. That's set to medium. This is disabled as well. It has to be. Booster enabled. Transmit power at the highest. That is disabled. And that's disabled. That's disabled. They have to be disabled. Okay? Let me pause it from this point on. So you understand what you have to do. Okay. Okay. You're gonna go in you type press the the flag. Some people have flag key. Some people have the win key spelled out. So it's win in R. Type it reg edit. You go into reg edit, and this will bring up this registry edit. So you go H key local machine system currents control set services TCP IP. You want to go into parameter. Okay, I'm not going to show you parameter just yet because I have to do some teaching here. You're going to create when you go into the parameter. You're going to create a new D word 32-bit value. You would put that there. I have to get rid of that because I don't want that. But I'm just showing. Once that's created, then you have to modify it, and you have to select hexel. Get out of hexel and go into decimal, and you put the value in there. Okay, that's just an example. Let me delete because I don't want to save. All right, that's the way that is. Okay, now before we, okay, well, I can probably get over. This is the modification one because. All right, so I can blow this up bigger. Let's go maximum, and we're gonna go. Okay, you should be able to see this, hopefully. Okay, by default, you're not gonna see max connections per server. You want it, I think it was set to 1. If you're going to play around with, well, if you're a tech, you're gonna want to tweak the system. This is SGTCP Optimizer number 4. It only goes up to Windows 10 Pro. They stopped making it. So by default, Windows default looks like this out of the box. I had it set to my wireless adapter. Okay, and these are the settings. Okay, when you use this program, it'll change the settings. Optimal, current, optimal, current, Windows default. You could that's what this does. Okay, that's what this is for. So it has some settings, and then you would hit say you hit apply, and it creates a backup registry file. Okay. Now, once that's done, I believe. Okay, so maximum connections. That's this one. I say it's gonna get pixelated for some reason. You should be able to see it. Let's go a little bigger, because you need to understand what you need to be done. Global max TCP window size. It should be this, which is like 64 megabytes. Whoops. Oh darn it. All right. Well, that's me. All right. Let me. I'm not changing the video. I've changed several times already. I'm not gonna do that. All right. So that's what that needs to be. And I show you how to get in there. That you change it to from hexel to decimal, and you type it in there, and that's how you do it. And you hit OK. All right. If you have to change that, it should be that. If you use TCP optimizer, that would set it to 64. That's what the equivalent example of that is. Maximum connections per server, it's set to 0. It might be set to 1 on yours. I don't know, because I don't know what the default was setting on it, on what they had. So if you don't see 0, then set it to 0. Max free TCP PS. That's max free TCP. I'll try to blow that up a little bigger. That's this right here. That's set to 2000. The options are 1000 to 2000, but you wanted to set to 2000. Max hash table size. Same thing. 65536. You want to set it there. Max port. Max user port. It should be there. If it's not there, you're going to have to add these. If you don't see these there, you're going to have to add them. And you add them with DWORD 32-bit. Okay, again, 65534. Okay? Let's see what else you need to add. Oh yeah, this one down here. TCP timeout. This one, a TCP timeout wait delay. It might be there already. You change it to 30. Okay? Yeah, I believe those are the only ones that you have to change. But these max ports and this right here, all these max, if you don't see them, you're going to have to add them. And global max TCP window size too. That too. If that's not there, you're going to have to add it. If it's there, check the size. If the size is smaller, you're going to have to improve on it by increasing it to the max. That's the max. You can't go higher than that. Okay? All right. So that's about it. That's all you have to do. And then, hit OK, reboot the computer. Remember, you take it. If you change these settings, you're changing them at your own risk. Okay, you take responsibility. All right. So you're adding these new parameters to the system. Okay. Now, Windows, Microsoft, I think one of them said one that's not used no more. I forget which one is that, but I put it in there anyway because maybe they just don't want you to use it, but I use it. I see a big improvement after doing this. I hope you get the same kind of improvement. There was another person, Dark Spader or something like that. I don't know, it was in a different country. He had an application that would actually speed up the system and also change. There is I guess it's a DNL or something in the system 32-bit folder but he actually changed the file, and to run that on your computer today. You see, it's not 60, see, the problem with that one, it's not 64-bit, it's 32-bit, so we can't really use it. Too bad he gave up on it, because that would really speed up the system. But unfortunately, we don't have access to that. And you can only run it on a 32-bit processor, because that's all it supports. It does not support the 64-bit processor. It's a shame that he gave up on that. So what he did is he created a utility to speed up the TCP/IP, which was a little better than the TCP optimizer. Okay. All right. I hope you understand how this works now. If any questions, let me know. I have this saved as a picture. Okay. But remember, you're I have to make this perfectly clear. I'm not responsible for any mistakes you made on your registry. You back up your registry first. Okay? You back up system or store. You back up that first before you attempt anything like this if you don't know what you're doing. But these are the settings that need to be added. And you have to have more RAM in the system too. The multiprocessor, because we're tapping to things that needs more than one processor, two processors, and more than 8 gig of RAM. 8 gig of RAM, you're kind of pushing it. Just letting you know. All right, is that it? Okay, good. But make sure it's the same settings here. So if you see the same settings here, I'll go different sizes so you can get to see. Okay. Another way to do this is I would have to create a registry script, and all you have to do is click on the script, and it will populate and put the stuff in there for you without you doing anything. But I'm not taking all responsibility for that, because if I create a self-running program, Windows is going to say, "Hey, detect this unusual program. We're going to cut it off." That's the thing. You have to disable a whole bunch of stuff just to get those things to work anymore. I'm not taking a risk. Okay, so it's TCP timed out wait delay. Change that to 30. Mash hash table size. Make sure that it's max, which is 64. But that's written in bytes, so that's what it comes out in bytes. Mash hash table size, same thing. Max free TCPs 2000. Max connection server 0. I think there's only that max connection server is either 1 or 0. But you want to send, so I think by default it's set to 1, and 0 means it's max. Yeah. And then global max TCP window size too. That too, you have to set that to max. Make sure you have these settings, and if you don't see it, then add it, or run SGTCP Optimizer 4. We'll put most of these in, but it won't put everything in. So just letting you know. Now there's one for gaming tweaks. The gaming tweaks throws the machine off completely, so be careful if you enable that. See, this is set to the max. See, Microsoft used to have this set to 3,000, so they changed it to 2,000, I believe. That's it. Any questions? Let me know, okay? If you find this helpful in your daily life, in your daily computing life, support me by subscribing to the channel. Okay, I do appreciate it. That's all you really have to do is support. Okay, support. Thumbs up, comment, and subscribe to the channel. All right. All right. That's how you help us. Don't just grab the information and run off. I'm helping you with your computer. Okay. I know somebody said I was talking about my life. That's the only time I talk about that stuff is when we talk about the cable company and all that stuff. Oh, I gotta look at that. That's another thing to gotta look at that. Make sure there's no changes. Okay. Too much things I have to worry about in life. All right. I hope this helps you speed. Do a speed test before, okay, and then do one after. Okay. I did already, so I see what I'm getting. Because the router, I'm supposed to be getting a gig, but we all know what that 1 gig is equivalent to 600. Okay. But the but the the ISP, the Internet Service Provider, changes the modem. No matter if you're renting or you own your own modem, they change that from 1 gig speed to 940. 940 comes down to 540. Okay, so 540 is what you really get. But if your router it's getting out of, if your router is saying, hey, the most you're getting is like 400, 460, they be satisfied with that, because that's as close as you're gonna get. So you say, gee, I'm paying all this money, shouldn't I get 800? Well, remember, the lower you go, the lower the speed. So if you feel like you could save money by going 800, but eventually these ISPs gonna get rid of the speeds. If they get rid of the data cap, we'd be okay. We don't have to pay extra for it. I just wish things would be changed. All right, thanks again for watching. Subscribe. Okay. All right, we're out of here.